you want me to start?
Absolutely.
All right. I'd like to start this way. About a year after 9/11, I got a telephone call from a professional writer, and he was writing a story about 9/11. He was also at the Marriott Hotel, 3 World Trade Center in New York on 9/11 and had been staying there. And he asked that I give him an interview, and I did. I told him the story I'm about to tell you. And at the end of the story, he said to me, he said, "Frank, I don't know if you realize this, but there are only 14 people who survived the collapse of both buildings on 9/11, and you're one of the 14 people." Now, as I tell the story, you may say to yourself, I made incredibly bad choices that day, or you may say I was a very fortunate person. You can judge for yourself which are the reasons why I survived that day. Well, let me take you back. I am a lawyer. I had a case that was pending in the United States District Court, very big case, and a very important case. I had a suite of rooms in the Marriott Hotel on the 19th floor. The hotel was physically connected to the North Tower, and in essence, I had set up a war room for the trial in that suite. And I had boxes all over the place and materials getting ready for the trial. I was in bed, and suddenly I heard a huge bang, and I instinctively went to the windows. I opened the drapes. I looked outside, and now I could see fireballs falling into the street. I was at the apex of my career at that time, and the thought occurred to me that if I leave this room with all my papers, I may not be able to get back into this room. And I have a trial that's coming up. I need these papers. I've got to get them out. And so I decided that the most important thing for me at that point was to collect those papers, put them back in the boxes, put them in the litigation bags, and get them out of the hotel now. And I was thinking, I wonder if a bellman's still downstairs who can help me. And as I was reaching for the phone, the building shuddered, and I looked out the window, and I could see falling out of the sky concrete and steel going right past the window, as if it were a curtain at a theater falling. And a day which was a bright, sunny, late summer day turned pitch black. I realized that these may be the final moments of my life. Then I thought, I'm never going to see my daughter get married. And then I thought about my parents, and I said to myself, I hope I've lived the kind of life that my parents can be proud of.
How's the way out of here? Somebody come in. Yeah. I got something. Come on, guys. All right, guys. Everybody. Where's the Chief Colin? Right here. Where's Chief Colin?
Yeah.
We were in the lobby of the North Tower, and the whole area goes completely dark. You can't see the hand in front of your face.
Get some lights.
And I got on my radio, and I said, command to all units in Tower 1, evacuate the building.
Command post in Tower 1 to all units. Evacuate the building.
Not out there, that's going up.
Command post to all units.
Command post to all units.
Stay right here. I'm gonna go up here. I'm gonna find a way out.
Let's go. What top floor? What floor?
We came in this way, no?
No, we come from the other way over there.
Let's go.
I made the evacuation order, and then I felt somebody at my feet. I grabbed the flashlight, and as I shined the flashlight, I saw the white collar of our chaplain. He was lying on the floor at my feet.
Hey guys, here, we need a hand here. Hey guys, come back down! Hey, we need a hand. Guys, we're going to take this cold. You okay, Eddie?
So I removed his white collar. I checked for a pulse, and I couldn't find one. And I knew at that point that part of the building had to hit him, and he was gone. So Chief Hayden said, well, we're going to carry him out.
This way.
Up the escalator right here. Come on. Up it right here.
All right, we got 4 guys?
Yeah, I got it.
What's the way out? You know the way. Stay right here. I'm gonna go up here. I'm gonna find a way out.
Let's go. What top floor? What floor?
Can we get out here? This way too.
Somebody try and go across.
The front door's completely blocked. Is it?
We're gonna come back to this.
We gotta go. Let's go out there.
At that point, all I heard on the radio was static. I think everybody was trying to talk at the same time. It was impossible to receive or to transmit any message at that moment.
This is the condition of my building. Firemen are coming in. Janie, try on your cell.
It doesn't work.
Yeah, hello? Hold on 1 second. I have your husband here, okay?
Can you get an outside line? Because I got to call
Yeah.
someone to tell them.
Mo? Mo?
Raphael, what do you want me to do?
I'm all right.
Here, I got it.
Don't believe it. Everybody's dead, Mo. I'll call you back.
Oh, my God. As he said, everybody's dead. They're going back out.
Nice and slow. Just go nice and slow.
Ultimately, the building stopped shaking, and I was still in the room. I was astonished that I was still alive. And I raced for the door. I opened the door and looked down the hallway. It was pitch black.
Our job was to help search and evacuate the Marriott Hotel. After the first tower collapsed, we were in the hotel. We couldn't see, we couldn't barely breathe, and it was like literally lights out. And as the dust settled, in front of us was basically a wall of debris from left side of the hallway, right side of the hallway, from floor to ceiling. We started calling out for all the other guys, and I said, I'm okay, are you okay? Who's okay? You know, like that kind of thing. And then we heard two more I'm okays, where we should have heard three. There was no, his name was Ruben Correa, was part of our team. And we were screaming at the top of our lungs, trying radios. The radios were just full of chatter, and it was just practically useless. And it was pretty frantic when we couldn't find Ruben. Finding him, that's all we wanted to do.
I went down the fire staircase. I don't know why, but I yelled out, "Is anyone there?" And I heard voices from below yelling up and saying, "Yeah, we're here. We're on the third floor landing." He says, "But we can't get down because the staircase is collapsed down to the ground." And I got enough debris moved so that I was able to get through to the third floor landing. At this point, we are all covered, literally covered, in dirt, dust, debris, and literally in the door jamb of the staircase, of the fire staircase, there was a fireman. I now know that that fireman was Jeff Johnson.
We started hearing voices, and they were on floors below us. I made my way down, and that's where I ran into three gentlemen, Frank Rosano and the two other people. We didn't know this, but the South Tower had collapsed and taken out the entire middle of the Marriott Hotel.
There was a steel beam that was wedged in the fire staircase. There was this huge hole in the wall. He got on that beam and shimmied down the beam to the ledge, looked up at us and said, "Everyone out in the street is dead. The policemen are dead. The firemen are dead." He says, "Nobody is coming to save us. If we're going to get out of this building, we have to get out of this building on our own."
I said, "Everybody, listen, follow me, do what you want, but I'm getting out." And they all agreed whatever I was going to do, they were going to do. I didn't ask them their names or anything like that. We checked and they were okay, so then they became part of our group and we proceeded down from there.
We're in the back of the ambulance where usually you only have 3 people. We have 7. The wind is almost like a cyclone we're in right now. It was dark. They were screaming, the people on the floor. I said to them the first thing, we're gonna be okay, you know? So I put the lights on and I said, we're gonna be fine, we're gonna be okay. They're gonna find us here. We'll be all right. But meanwhile, I say to myself in my mind, Jimmy, this is bad. You know, this is bad. We might not make it out of here. It felt like someone was putting a hot sock down your throat. This air was heated and intensified, and since it was cement, it was so dry that it just felt like something was clogging your throat to the point that you can't breathe no more. So, excuse me. So I say to myself, what can I do? I have to improvise. So I tell them, I'm turning on the oxygen. And I said, we're gonna do like skin divers do. We're gonna buddy breathe. I said, you take it for a little bit, pass it on to the next person. You get a little more, keep passing it around. I said, if we can get out now, it's the time to get out. When I came out, there was silence. There was no one calling for anybody. Everybody was gone. Almost like the end of the world. And then I realized, when I got out of the ambulance, there's one of us missing. My partner, Marvin, wasn't with me. And I didn't have Marvin in the ambulance. I thought he was dead then. I worked with him every Tuesday. And we worked for a couple of years together. And when you sit that close to another person, you start knowing them better than you know your own wife. Just a truly good person, good-hearted. The big part is working with a partner like Marvin is after you have a bad call, you talk to him about it. Or he would talk to me about it, how he felt. And that's a true friend. It's not a partner no more. It's family. I had to know for sure if Marvin made it or not. I had to find him.
Battalion 1 to Division 1. Battalion 1 to Division 1. Battalion 1 to Division 1.
We had no idea that a building just collapsed. But we needed to find a way out. And I knew there was a passageway to the World Financial Center, which was across the street. And I could remember a cold chill running down my spine. And couldn't comprehend what I was seeing.
lobby was in the lobby.
And we went to the corner opposite One World Trade Center, and we started to regroup.
In the hotel lobby, we got about 12. We're all
That's trapped in the lobby?
of the hotel.
Okay.
There might be, with all fire, I know we're out.
What about in Tower 1? We have people up on the upper floors. I have no idea.
This is what is coming over our radio. Get out of the area. The second tower is coming down.
They tell you the second tower is...
Yes, it's about to collapse.
Keep everybody up.
As we were trying to just regroup, somebody yelled that the other building could collapse. I looked up, and then we heard another loud rumble. I was with Jules, and he had his camera, and I remember him ducking behind a small truck. I jumped on top of him, which seemed like a good idea at the time, until we heard all the steel crashing around us. And for a couple seconds, I wondered if I was dead or alive.
Control, where are you? We need help.
This way!
Help! Help!
That day, no matter how seasoned you were, you had that in your head that you might die. When this tower came down, it's the North Tower, and I'm north. It's coming down on me. I get back into the front. I put the ambulance into gear. I say, come on, don't stall now. I gotta get out of here. I'm just trying to survive. And I go and I get to the emergency room. I get to the emergency room before the smoke hits there. And I said, close the doors. It happened again. Both towers are down. They're coming down. There's nothing but black smoke coming.
Let's go, sir. Yes, you can move.
And you hear them all saying, oh my God, oh my God. How many people just died? And I'm thinking, I still don't know where Marvin is. I come out of the emergency room and I said, I want to get up to where the building's collapsed. Because, of course, being a partner like that and having that bond, I couldn't work every day knowing that he died. And I would be blaming myself because in the beginning, we should have stuck together. But I decided on my own that I was going to do this, no matter what happens. Not knowing what happened to Marvin made me go back. And as I'm getting closer and closer, I'm hearing like slaps on the side of the ambulance, and people are having trouble breathing. These are the people that were laying on the floor now. And I take them to the hospital. And I do this like 3 to 4 times. I probably transported 16 and 17 people to the hospital that day. And now I'm only getting like a block or 2 in. A policeman says, don't go no further. So I said, oh, I got to get up there. I got to get up there, I tell him. He says, don't go no further because the pavement is getting mushy and the subway's there. The ambulance might go through the ground into the subway. So I say, I'm going to go. Now it looks like hell. And it's just black smoke and fire. And as I'm going up right to Broadway, all of a sudden I see somebody, and he's standing there, and he's got a phone, and there's no one else around. I'm saying to myself, Marvin?
When the building was coming down, I surely thought I was dead. I'm standing there in the middle of all this debris, and I see what looks like strobe lights. And I'm like, oh, this is my mind now playing tricks on me. And then all of a sudden, this vehicle stops. And lo and behold, jumps out, it's Jimmy.
I put the ambulance in park, and I ran towards him. He ran towards me. We hugged like we never saw each other before. We're alive, and we're alive together.
We didn't have time to cry. We just embraced each other and said, all right, we got a job to do. Let's do it.
After the North Tower came down, we were buried in about 4 feet worth of debris. And I remember thinking, this can't be happening to me twice in one day. When the fireman dug his way out of the debris and stood up, his immediate reaction was to assess the situation. He says, that steel beam is starting to buckle. And if we don't get out of this room, we're going to die in this room.
We couldn't see outside anymore. We was basically stuck in this area. And I saw a little bit of light under a table. And I crawled under the table and kind of stuck my head out. We were about 10 feet above a floor covered with steel rebar, steel beams, concrete. It was not a level, it was demolition field.
In the debris, he finds a rug he anchors it on the floor, and he throws the rug over the side of the building. And he says, "This is the way out."
Actually, it wasn't a rug, it was a piece of curtain. And I said, listen, go feet first through the hole, hold on to the curtain as long as you can, and then your feet should hit the beams or floor.
I honestly believe that if I was left to my own devices, I'd still be out. I'd still have been on that third floor landing, and I don't know whether I would have survived. I went down, then the firemen came down. And the last thing I remember the firemen saying was, "Keep moving west until you get to the Hudson River." They set up a triage center at Ellis Island.
I want you to hold my hand. Come on board. Get inside. Anybody else? Come on.
We got out into the middle of the river, and I looked back at the skyline of New York, and there was no World Trade Center there. I turned to the guy who was driving the boat. I said, where are the World Trade Center? He said, they're gone. They collapsed down to their foundations. And that was the first time I knew that is what happened. The other thing I thought of was my grandparents. I had grown up in New York City, but I had never been to Ellis Island. All four of my grandparents entered the United States through Ellis Island. And I wondered whether my grandparents could ever have imagined that this would happen in the United States.
Anybody need some water?
After the collapse of the towers, we lost our command staff. Our chief of the department and so many other staff chiefs. They were all killed. One of the most amazing stories from that day on how to reestablish command was done by Chief Hayden. He got up on a burnt-out fire truck. And those of us who survived started to gather. And Chief Hayden gave us an order. It sounded pretty strange at the time. He said, I want you to take off your helmets. And we looked at him. We don't take off our helmets. I mean, this is who we are. And the chief said, no, I want you to take off your helmets and we're going to have a moment of silence because we lost a lot of people today. And as others came back to the site, we were able to reestablish command, to search and rescue people. And then I thought of my brother. And even though I know he was there, I looked at Engine 33, the riding list in the truck. I remember seeing, yes, he was working that day. I wasn't just imagining it. I tried to call him on the radio, Battalion 1 to Engine 33. Battalion 1 to Engine 33. And there was no answer. Like so many units that day, there was no answer when we called them. We know from earthquakes, people are found in all different pockets. We figured, okay, maybe there is a pocket there where we'll find a bunch of people. And I was hoping my brother would survive.
Emotionally, I was a wreck. The very frustrating and upsetting thing was not knowing about Ruben, And my captain, Captain Loeb, I wanted to go back out, and he wouldn't let me go back out. So he wanted me to go home. And I begged him to stay. Sorry. I didn't know what I was going to do. I just didn't want to leave. The thing about losing Ruben, and unfortunately we never found him, is he had a wife and daughters, and that bothered me a lot, that we never found him.
In the wake of 9/11, I think the way I've led my life in the past 20 years has been different than the way I lived it before. I have tried in the last 20 years to spend more time with my family. I've tried to be less obsessed about my own personal career, my profession. Have I been successful all of the time? No. My wife will tell you that I still have the same tendency, but I'm trying. When you stop and think about it, isn't this what happened with Ebenezer Scrooge in A Christmas Carol? After the events of that famous Christmas Eve, he tried to reform his life. He tried to do better. Was he always successful? Well, we don't know because Charles Dickens doesn't tell us, but I bet he wasn't always successful, but I bet he was always trying. As I thought about my role in 9/11, I realized that it was that fireman who provided me with the leadership to direct me out of that building, and that I would not have done it on my own.
I, Catherine Lucas Rosano,
take you, Thomas Martin Ryle,
take you, Thomas Martin Ryle,
to be my beloved husband.
to be my beloved husband.
I promise to be true to you
I promise to be true to you
all the days of my life.
all the days of my life.
Now that my parents are gone, I have the two Borgia girls who now are the head of the family. I have one other person to remember, and that's Jeff Johnson, the guy who led me out of the World Trade Center on 9/11. Thank you very much.
It was one of the happiest days of my life. And my daughter has had a wonderful marriage and two beautiful children. And Jeff, thank you. Thank you for giving me that moment and for giving me all the time I've had with her boys and with my other grandchildren. Thank you very much.